Let's take a quick look at some things you might find in your check sequence. None of these are really showstoppers in terms of affecting your show in too much of a negative way, but does raise some concerns with people when they see it in their check sequence. So first of all, if you didn't know about it, under Tools, Check Sequence, not only does it check your sequence, it basically checks your layout. So you run that, it creates a notepad file with a whole bunch of gobbledygook. A lot of it doesn't really mean much, unfortunately. There's probably videos on all the different aspects of it, but I'm going to focus on a few of the more common elements that we're seeing here. So I'm going to scroll down. Here we go. Here's one that's an example. It says the keywords here is found a model group in a preview unassigned, but it contains all these models. It says, it goes on and on and on. So basically, we're going to go look at why is it doing this. So the keywords here are, there's the group, whole house, no matrix. It's in a preview called unassigned. So let me just move this over to the side and we'll look at the 02 whole house, no matrix. 02 whole house, no matrix. Wait a second, it's not there. That doesn't make any sense. It's not listed. Well, it's not listed because I'm in my default preview. Now, a little added twist here is I'm in 3D, so I have to flip back to 2D. And I switch this to unassigned. There we go. And then I can go back to 3D if I want to. But this is my whole house, no matrix, sitting in unassigned. All we have to do is make that default. We're all good. And we can go back to the default again and go back to 3D. Boom, we've got this in here, and now it's in the default preview, which for most people, that's where it should be. The previews were a legacy attempt at trying to create different views. Maybe you had Christmas, Halloween versus other holidays. Probably not the way to do it nowadays. There's lots of better techniques, but quite often you might inadvertently change the preview here just by using your mouse, and you get into trouble doing that. So that'll address all of these warnings. Another one here is empty groups. This is really a choice that you can make or not. You can delete all your empty groups if you want to. Sometimes you might keep them there because they're brought in when you have a certain prop, and maybe you're going to populate them later with models. There's no harm in leaving them there. At least they're there for you can import to them so that you populate them later. If you want to delete them, it's a case of right click and delete empty groups right there. That would remove all those. Be warned, if you do that and you have sequences that call out for those groups, you're going to get a warning when you load up those sequences. It's going to say, can't find the group. What do you want me to do? And in that case, you probably want to delete those effects. Anyway, here's another one that's common. Model groups containing duplicate nodes. I have a group called floods that contains a big bulb, and it says it also contains a model big bulbs. So what it's telling me here is I've included the bulb itself plus the group. So I'm going to go back here and look at group floods. We'll take a look at that. Group floods. Group floods. Be alert that this bottom half of the screen here may be off the bottom, and you may have to scroll down depending on your layout. So when you're creating a group, you probably want to do one or the other, not both, is have just the props themselves in here, not the groups. We suggest you not put groups in here, although some vendors, sequence vendors, encourage you to put groups in there because that's the way they've coded it. But you certainly don't want to have both. So look, in this case, groups are in blue color, so you're easy to identify them. Quite simple. You just keep an eye on the right-hand side. You want to make sure that when I remove the group of big bulbs, that nothing really changes to make sure you didn't drop anything. I'm going to go left click and take them out. So now I have all my 5 big bulbs, which are over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have my floods, and I have backlights for the E-flake that I have here. But you don't want to double include it. So that's what that warning is about. And bring back the check sequence. The group floods had both the bulb itself plus the big bulb group. So that's why you had overlapping nodes. So that would address that one. This one here is another common one. For some of these high definition, high density props, I have a spiral all, for example, PC spiral all. Actually, you know what? I'm going to explain this with a drawing. So if I have a spinner and I have a spiral that goes this way, and then I have another one that goes, oh, that's a bad drawing, but anyway, each one of these, it's going to have a duplicate node right in the center here where it sort of pivots on it. So it's expected. It's nothing you can do about it, but it'll alert it. It's going to flag it, but that's okay. It just means that there's a common node in the submodel. So there's nothing you can really do about it. Just be aware of it being in your check sequence. So another one here, I have a group called pol 5. Contains pol 5, flake 1 all, and it also contains the flake. So this is similar to this one up here, except this one is not only does it include the flake itself, but all of the submodels. So very similar. So let's go look at that. We're going to look at pol 5. Let me move this out of the way. Pol 5. Now my pol 5 is these little tower of snowflakes here. So it's got basically 1, 2, 3 snowflakes and a star on top. So on the thing we have 1, 2, 3 snowflakes and the star on top, but I've also double included by mistake all of the submodels that make up the snowflake one, the all arm 1, arm 2, arm 3, arm 5, etc. They're in orange, so that gives you a clue to look for orange things. Chances are you do not want to include the submodels along with the entire model itself. So I would click on the first one, shift click on the last one, remove that. Again, keep an eye on the right-hand side. Nothing really changed. That means you didn't really affect the results. You just cleaned up the group in this case to remove any duplicate nodes that were flagged with the check sequence. So we're pol 5 contain a model called the arm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it also contained a flake. That's because, and they overlap. That's because this is really made up of all the different arms. So you've double included things. So that's a very common one as well. So model groups containing duplicate nodes. They're not overlaps. They're not going to affect you in that sense. When people used to say you have overlapping channels and such, that's not what it is. So let me close this. Those are the things I wanted to take a look at. I'm going to do a tools check sequence. And we'll take a quick look at this. I have props that aren't on my controller in the visualizer. That's what that's all about. I've got things that are still sitting in my 2022 show folder, so it's warning me. That's not best practices, but it's not serious. I have a bunch of empty groups that I could delete, but I'm going to keep them because I might put stuff in them later. This is the one I explained to you about the spiral having a common center. So you're going to have an issues with that. And then all the other ones are gone. So we've got all of the other errors have been corrected. All of these are similar to what I explained for this one. The submodels are overlapping and contain duplicate nodes. In this case, if I was to draw, this is petals. So there's a petal that looks like this, and then another petal that looks like this, and another petal that looks like this. So again, it's using some common nodes when it comes to putting all those petals together. So it's nothing you can do about it. No harm. xLights will handle it just fine. I think that's what I was looking to cover today. Hopefully that helps you and clean up your check sequence. If you have any other issues or you need some clarification, drop in the Zoom room. Be sure and like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep providing these videos of things we come across from in the xLights Zoom room. Talk to you later.